Scott, I feel like you feel your energy. For you and the girls are fired up this weekend.
Yeah, we are. We've trained long and hard, and we're ready to go. It's an exciting time, and I mean it comes around quick. But if you think back, we're mid-February. We sort of started some voluntary training, and then a bit of a break, and then into pre-season. It is a long lead in.
Is the long pre-season because you don't play that many rounds?
Yeah, it is. We ideally, and it's just a gut feel, but you need to get roughly about 16, 20 games of football a calendar year into the girls to get your game plan nutted out and your scenarios and set plays. So that break is critical to actually do something in there. The 12 games is not enough to sort of nut that down.
Is it inevitable, Scott, that the season can and should expand?
Yeah, absolutely. I think expansion's based off some metrics in the AFLW, which is good because it gives you clarity of what we've got to do with broadcast and attendance. But it's really important, I think, for the quality of football that we all want to see and play, that the natural progression is that we advance quite quickly with the number of games to, in my opinion, somewhere around 16, 18 as quickly as we can.
Can that acceleration eventually lead to parity between the two games?
Interesting question. I think the problem at the moment, which is, I suppose, a strategy question for W as well, is the ground availability and the timing of the season. So the AFL's announced that they fixed the grand final so that gives us clarity. We know last weekend in November is going to be the grand final, but that does throw a further problem as we go back into the men's with ground availability, second tier competition and things like that.
We were talking to Elise Parker, a lot of my colleagues and I were yesterday in the Gowans camp. She said she walked into the dressing room for pre-season and there were 8 to 10 new faces and she didn't even know. Are you on the cusp of a new dawn as well?
Yeah, we are. We made 9 changes to our list over the pre-season from last year, and it's interesting that I thought the connection would take a bit longer, and we may be proven wrong, but so far so good. It's actually been really great the way the girls have come together and training their ball movement drills. It seems to have synergy, but of course we haven't played in the heat of a game for points yet. But it is a risk when you make lots of list changes, but you have to do it. We felt as though it was a need that we needed to get better in certain areas, and the game dictates there's certain stats that you've got to hit, and we just weren't meeting them, so we had to make those changes.
Is that
Scott?
tough?
What's that? Oh, it is tough. Yeah, it's very tough because, particularly in our case, because a lot of our talent came up from Victoria, so they've moved their lives part-time. It's different with the boys because the money's not the same in the wages, so you do have a little bit more empathy for the players that took the risk and came up, and obviously we gave a lot of opportunity, but it is a risk to move their lives and livelihoods to come up and play for a contract, and we're really respectful of that, and it's one of the hardest parts of the job.
What are your expectations, Scott? What do you think you can achieve this season?
So we're talking finals. We're really comfortable about talking that we want to make finals, and I think if you're not prepared to say that, I don't know what you're doing here. I just think you may as well say it because we all think it, and quite comfortable in saying that. It's an expectation. Our benchmark is finals this year, and we've planned for a 16-week season, so we've planned to grand final leave from an S&C point of view, and everything we do, we talk about it, we try to do imagery with it, what it would look like, what it would feel like, so that if it does happen, we're ready, and that's the way we do. We've spoken about that since February 10, and I'm quite comfortable saying that.
Where do you need to improve in order to achieve that?
So team defence was our big one over the pre-season. We were able to score fairly easily against sides we should score against, but then when we come up against the better sides, you need to score off turnover, and we just couldn't create the turnovers to then get the scoring opportunities. So it'd be nice to add in, because from stoppage we've been fine. Benchmark, I think we sit 8th for that, so we're about the middle of the ladder. And we have been for the last 3 seasons, but it's been the scores from turnover, and that's where our big improvements come.
Scott,
Just on boosting, was that not necessarily a win, but to get close against the Lions?
Yeah, the match against the Lions was good. I mean, it's hard to get a read on practice matches because both sides are trying different things. The thing that stood out for me, though, was our intensity and effort was there from quarter time. The first quarter we were a bit slow to get a start, and we addressed that at the break. And from there we really competed quite well, and it's you can't get a gauge from a scoreboard perspective. 13 points sounds like we got close, but who knows if it was a game for points. But it's more what happened around the contest and the way we were able to, as I was saying, move the ball off our turnover, gaining turnover. So quite pleased with that.
Scott, I know Macca used the terminology dawn of a new era. One of the things I've been thinking about and chatting with the girls about is, you know, a lot of them had that stalled, you get kicked out and when you turn 12 then you have a break and you came back. But some of those really young girls that are coming through, they've been playing footy since Auskick and haven't had the break. What is the things you're noticing with them? Because it's just like the ball handling, the skills are a next level.
Yeah.
So could it be the dawn of a new era in the AFLW when now we're seeing that generation of footballers come through?
Yeah, I think so. You're absolutely right. When you watch the Coates League and those girls progress into Vic Metro, Vic Country, in our case Allies, state footy now is highly skilled, but it's also the game sense around that as well. And in our case, Zippy Fish, you look at her ball handling skills and her decision making that she makes with ball in hand is fantastic, and that'll be something for the fans to watch. But it's also what she does off ball and how she sets up ready for the next play. And she's not alone there, and that's just started to come through in the last 2 seasons. So you'd imagine that in 3 or 4 more seasons, when you get a whole group of those girls playing in the teams around the competition, it'll naturally progress the competition quite quickly.
Will we see Zippy on Friday?
Yeah, we've got match committee tomorrow, but yeah, there's a fair chance Zippy will be there. She's done everything right over the pre-season, and she's a very rare talent, and I think she'll be an exciting player to watch, but also I feel like she'll draw people to the game, and New South Wales footy needs that.
Montana Ham built nicely last year. What's she capable of this season? What are your expectations for her?
Yeah, well, we took her with the first pick for a reason, and she's just had such a bad run with injury, and she's fully fit this year. She put on a bit of size, which she needed to do to play the inside mid role, and so far at training match sim against Brisbane, she was a very hard person to tackle. So I'm looking forward to seeing Mon come back. I mean, Chloe Malloy obviously is the one to watch, I suppose, from a spectacle point of view. Mon Ham will get the work done. I think she's ready to go.
Are you going to give Chloe Malloy a game?
I don't know about that yet,
Yeah.
Chloe.
How closely have you guys been working with Chloe? I just spoke to her about kind of, you know, redoing or having the same injury again, kind of living in her head a little bit. So we've been working really closely with her, and she's been working closely with the Sykes.
Yeah, it's something that she's done herself actually. She's driven a lot of that herself, and the extra rehab, and just to make sure that she can fall back on something mentally, that she's done the work. And it's hard to describe to people, but the extra stuff that she's done off-site to make sure that she has that peace of mind is extraordinary. And I know she's done a lot of work with Erin Phillips and spent some time talking to her as well, and that's helped a lot. So, yeah, she couldn't be more prepared. And of course, you know, we're all got our fingers crossed and everything like that with every player that comes back from an ACL, but particularly the better players in the competition. You want to see them thrive so that the AFLW thrives.
Is it the strongest and fittest you've ever seen her? I think she told me she ran her fastest 1.5 ever.
She did. She did, and she's hit PBs in most of her lifting as well. So yeah, she's the fittest I've seen her. When I had her, when I was at Collingwood, she was still a very good player. But yeah, no, she's ready to go.
Can you rate Richmond for us, Scott?
Yeah, Richmond are an interesting side. So their last 3 seasons really strong. Their form line is, I think they're 18-11 for the last 3 seasons, but their average percentage is the 3rd best in the competition over the last 3 seasons. So it tells you that they're right there. Finals last 2 years, so there's no reason why you wouldn't think they're going to be thereabouts. And as we said before, if we want to make finals, they're the exact team that we need to come up against and beat. And that's a clear expectation this Friday night.